Welcome back to another episode of DAS, Death After Sports, with your host, Sean Mack. Today we're going to be discussing the top 10 athletes who died playing the game that they loved. If you like today's content, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the video. So let's go. There was a time when the winning position in a game used to be decided by the death of the opponent. Eventually, the game began a decrease in terms of cruelty and started to be used much as recreational entertainment. Starting from the social sports of medieval times, where games were often struck by tragic deaths of its participants, there are many ancient records that claim participants' deaths during an ongoing event of any sport. Here I will present the list of unfortunate athletes who died on the field. Haida Hehan of Phagalia was suffocated at the 564 BC Olympic Games during pancration, and Icus of Epidaurus was accidentally killed at the 492 BC Olympic Games during a boxing event. There are also records that claim that Phydelpides of Athens had died of exhaustion in 490 BC during the marathon running event. But in modern days, all the events of any major sports have their own set of medical staff and emergency medical assistants to minimize the risks and to ensure the care of any scenario after any fatal accidents. But still, accidents and deaths can come in any form at any time. So let's take a deeper dive into the death of 10 athletes who died while playing on the field. Number 10, Ray Chapman. American baseball player Ray Chapman played as a shortstop for the Cleveland Indians throughout his entire career. He is the only Major League Baseball player to face death from an injury during game play. Chapman holds the single-season record with 67 hit by pitches in 1917, and also placed 6 on the sacrifice hit all-time list. Chapman was hit by a pitch in the head thrown by Carl Mays of the Yankees. This tragic accident happened in a game against the New York Yankees at the Polo Grounds on August 16, 1920. Chapman died in a New York hospital 12 hours later. He was inducted into the Cleveland Guardians Hall of Fame in 2006. Number 9, Antonio Peralta. Spanish footballer Antonio Peralta played on the Spanish international football team, Spanish U21 and Spanish U23, and also played solely for the Sevilla Football Club as the left fielder and an attacking left back. Peralta led his team Sevilla to achieve 5 major titles during his career with the club. He faced a series of cardiac arrests during a La Liga game against Getafe on August 25, 2007, and died just 1 day later, affected by arrhythmogenic right ventricular dysplasia. Peralta collapsed in the penalty area due to a cardiac arrest on his home field against Getafe CF after only 35 minutes of game play. As a tribute, all 22 participants had the name Peralta printed on the back of their jerseys in Sevilla's versus AC Milan on August 31, 2007. Number 8, Duk Koo Kim. South Korea boxer Duk Koo Kim won 17 out of his first 20 fights that he ever participated in, out of which 8 wins came by knockouts, with his traditional southpaw stance. He died during a World Championship boxing match against Ray Boom Boom Mancini on November 13, 1982. Referee Rich Green stopped the fight after Kim went flying into the ropes. Simultaneously, Mancini hit Kim with a huge right hand. Mancini won the fight by TKO 19 seconds into the 14th round. Kim was rushed to the hospital where he was found to have, quote, a subdural hematoma consisting of 100 cc's of blood in his skull, end quote. Duk Koo Kim died 4 days after the Mancini fight on November 17, 1982. Number 7, Frank Hayes. American jockey and longtime stableman Frank Hayes was a champion horse trainer. During the first 2 decades of the 20th century, he suffered a fatal heart attack at Belmont Park in New York State in the midst of a steeplechase on June 4, 1923. His heart actually stopped beating while riding a 20-1 outsider horse called Sweet Kiss, owned by Miss A.M. Fraline. His body remained in the saddle throughout the race, but it was determined that he had apparently died somewhere in the middle of the race. The horse, Sweet Kiss, crossed the finish line in the lead, with Hayes technically still atop her back, which made Hayes the first and only jockey known to have won a race after his death. The horse, Sweet Kiss, was nicknamed the Sweet Kiss of Death for the rest of her active racing life. Number 6. Chuck Hughes. NFL wide receiver Chuck Hughes played for the Philadelphia Eagles from 1967 to 1969. He then played for the Detroit Lions from 1970 to 1971. Hughes is the only NFL player to die on the field during a game to this date. He was drafted in the 4th round in the 1967 NFL Draft by the Philadelphia Eagles. Hughes suffered a fatal heart attack during the final minutes of a game while playing for the Detroit Lions against the Chicago Bears at Texas Stadium in Detroit on October 24, 1971. He collapsed on the Chicago Bears' 15-yard line while jogging back to the huddle. To honor his contribution towards the team, the Detroit Lions retired his number 85. Number 5. Reggie Lewis. Former NBA player Reggie Lewis played as a small forward for the Boston Celtics in the NBA from 1987 to 1993. He was drafted in the 1st round at 22nd overall in the 1987 NBA Draft by the Boston Celtics. Lewis was named Eastern Conference Player of the Year 3 times and became an NBA All-Star in 1992. After averaging 20.8 points per game for the last 2 seasons of his career with the Celtics, Lewis suffered a sudden cardiac arrest on the basketball court on July 27, 1993, at a off-season practice in Walton, Massachusetts. After the tragic death of Lewis, his number 35 was retired by the Boston Celtics and also by his college, Northeastern University. Number 4. Bill Masterton. Canadian-American ice hockey player Bill Masterton is the only player to die as a direct result of injuries during a game in the NHL's history. Bill played for the Minnesota North Stars in the National Hockey League in the 1967-68 season. He faced a severe internal brain injury in the game versus the Oakland Seals at Met Center. Bill suddenly collapsed and died during the first period on January 13, 1968. There was an impact and collision with Larry Kahn and Ron Harris, which caused Masterton to bleed from his nose, ears, and mouth. He received emergency medical treatment in the dressing room, and then they rushed him to Fairfield Southdale Hospital, but he never did regain consciousness. Bill Masterton was officially pronounced dead on January 15, 1968, just some 30 hours after his tragic sports incident. Number 3. MarkVivien Foe. Cameroonian international footballer MarkVivien Foe played 64 international matches as a midfielder for the Cameroon international football team. He also played for famous clubs such as West Ham United and Manchester City on loan. Vivien scored 8 goals during his international appearance and scored 24 goals in his 201 club match appearances. Mark was a superstar. He died at the 2003 FIFA Confederation Cup, where Cameroon faced off against Colombia in the semifinals at the Stade de Gerland in Lyon, France on June 26, 2003. Mark collapsed in the center circle and died during the 72 minute of the game due to a hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. At a tribute, Manchester City retired his number 23 shirt and Lyon retired his jersey number 17. Number 2. Dell Earnhardt. American race car driver and team owner Dell Earnhardt is considered one of the highest paid NASCAR drivers of all time. He was nicknamed the Intimidator for his aggressive driving style. He won the NASCAR Sprint Cup Series 76 times and was placed in the top 10 428 times. Dell also won the NASCAR Nationwide Series 21 times and was placed in the top 10 75 times. Earnhardt was involved in a tragic last lap crash while driving in the 2001 Daytona 500 at Daytona International Speedway. He died on February 18, 2001 because of a basilar skull fracture. After Dell's tragic accident, where his legendary saga stopped, he was inducted into the International Motorsports Hall of Fame in 2006, and he was also inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame in 2010. Number 1. Ayrton Senna. Brazilian race car driver Ayrton Senna is considered one of the greatest drivers in the history of F1. He is the third most successful race car driver of all times in terms of race wins. Senna had 41 wins and 80 podium visits and 3 championship titles under his belt. He holds a record of 6 titles at the Monaco Grand Prix. Senna was also acclaimed for his wet weather performance at the 1984 Monaco Grand Prix and the 1985 Portuguese Grand Prix. He then gave us his best performance at the 1993 European Grand Prix. Senna died during his final race at the San Marino Grand Prix that was organized between April 28 and May 1st of 1994. Senna met with a tragic fate on lap 7, where he ran into a straight line off the track. Senna hit the concrete wall at 233 kilometers per hour. In closing, there were also sad events where fans of sports were shocked by tragic accidents or disasters which took place to their favorite players. A first-round draft pick of the Minnesota Vikings, Corey Stringer, died due to heat stroke during training camp on August 1st, 2001. One of the most charismatic ball handlers in NBA history, Pistol Pete Maravich, collapsed and died of heart failure at the age of 40 in a pickup game on January 5th, 1988. Rest in peace to everyone on this list, and may God give your family peace as well. Thanks for watching. I've been Sean Mack. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe the video, and get in that comment section as well and tell me what you think about the guy who passed away on the horse. That had to be the craziest thing I've ever seen in my life when it comes to sports. Get in that comment section, hit it up. Once again, I've been Sean Mack, and this is Death After Sports. Top 10 athletes who died in the field of play. Peace.